YouTube channel. I am so happy to have you here. This is the beginning of my New York vlog. I am so excited for this video. Editing this was so much fun and really was so nostalgic for me because it was one of the best summers of my life. I am so excited to share this with you. So I thought I'd be a little bit fun with the editing, and we're getting a little creative here. So if you guys love it, please feel free to comment below, and I would so appreciate it if you liked and subscribed as well. This is a long overdue video, but I thought it was the perfect time to kind of get this out there because I know a lot of you guys are looking for summer internships as well. So let's just hop right in. I did get an internship in New York and I got to spend a summer there, and it was just so beautiful and just the best summer of my life. So why I was there, it was a PR internship at an interior design firm, and it was an all-female team and just so wonderful. I forever am so grateful about the opportunity. How I landed my internship. I actually was interning with a girl out in New York. Always kept in touch with her. I was finishing up school and needed an internship to graduate, and I reached out and thankfully she had something. So I definitely was very lucky. I got this internship through a mutual friend. But that is a tip for you guys, to always keep your connections and be friendly and be kind, because you never know where your next job or where your next internship is gonna come from. How I found a sublet. So actually I was looking on Facebook Marketplace and I was just scrolling through researching and messaging these people. There's also these Facebook groups that you could join as well. I joined Sweat in the City and Gypsy Housing, and those are pretty popular for sublets or for college students who are looking for something temporary. But I was also strategic and smart about who I was messaging. Like, if it seemed like a scam and it was too good to be true, I obviously did not send any personal info, and I was very smart about it. I wanted to see the apartment in real time, so no videos. I was really strict about I needed a FaceTime call, and just to make sure that they were a real person and that this place is an actual place. And how long it took me to find a sublet. So I signed my internship contract in April and I found a sublet in May, beginning of May. So it took me about a month, but I was also researching, just being on top of these Facebook postings because they go so quick, you guys. It was insane. And especially the last month before summer kind of starts, everyone is kind of looking to leave the city and other people are looking to move in. So it is a fast moving market. So if you're ready and prepared and you have all your paperwork or deposit down, then you are a lot further than other people. And how I budgeted for this trip, I really didn't. I had an idea of how much the cost of living would be, but I didn't really budget, and I didn't want to give myself a budget because this trip was something that I have thought about for, I want to say like almost 10 years. 23-year-old me got to do it. So I was so happy, and I didn't really have a budget. But I think transparency is super important, so I'm just going to tell you guys how much I really spent in New York, including the travel, airline tickets, my rent, and all my outing and excursions and shopping. And I think I spent around $7,500 to $8,000. And I definitely didn't limit myself on things that I really wanted to do or that was on my bucket list. Okay, so what I packed. I only had one checked bag, one carry-on, and one personal bag. I was also traveling on my own, so I really wanted to think about what could I realistically like roll down the streets. I think the one thing people are scared of is navigating the subway, and I will say I wasn't scared at all, but I also traveled to Europe a few times the years prior to living in New York, so I was so used to public transit. The night that I left LAX, it was so crazy. I barely filmed anything, and I only got shots of my room like when I finally unpack things. And it's true what they say, New York square footage is like nothing else. My room was so tiny, but I got the job done for the summer, so I'm not complaining. I was just so happy to be in the city. I've been to New York once before and I really like Washington Square Park, so that was where I headed out first. And it was nice to kind of get out of my apartment too. I did have a few days before my work and before my internship started, and so I wanted to explore and sightsee and kind of get a lay of the land before the real life or real work started. And TikTok was my best friend the last month before I left too. I found so many good recommendations and I headed out to the flower shop in Chinatown, and they had the most amazing and really good happy hour with wine and oysters, and that's how I spent my second day in New York. The other major lesson that I took away from living in New York was definitely the grocery shop. Obviously, you don't have a car, and so you're not buying all your grocery shop items in one trip. I was going to the grocery store maybe like 3 or 4 times a week with my reusable bags, carrying only what I could handle, what my shoulders could handle. And so that was a little bit of a learning curve, but it was really funny, and it just reminded me of one, how much I appreciate my car back home, and also that there's different ways of living or different ways of life in every single city that you go to. So it was just really fun to kind of cosplay a New Yorker with no car for a few months. I also definitely underestimated the heat of New York in the summer. It was so humid, and it was a moist heat that kind of stuck in the air, and you literally couldn't get away from it no matter where you were. And I'm not saying that to deter you from visiting in the summer. I think it's so beautiful. There are so many events, so many parties, and so many things to do in the city during the summer, but definitely be prepared for very humid heat. And of course, I had to announce my New York internship on the internet, and so I got a ton of friends messaging me, congratulating me, and actually a few of them were going to New York for family trips for girls weekend, and so I got to meet up with a few of them, and I am so happy because that kind of filled up my first few weeks in New York as I was trying to get used to the city, and in between meeting new friends and strangers as well, because I was definitely a little shy in the beginning. And I don't think this is a New York vlog without some shopping. My beautiful friend, she lives in New York, she told me about this most amazing store on the Upper East Side. It's called Fox's, and I will say it's definitely more mature styles. I love a maxi dress, I love the modest styles, I love all the crazy costume jewelry that you could ever imagine. So I was like a kid in a candy store. I was staying in the Upper East Side in New York, and so it was just so nice to be pretty close to Central Park, really close to the Met, and so I would walk there pretty often and kind of just take in everything, and everybody was just lounging around, taking in the sun. It was just a beautiful time, and I thought I was in a really good area. I loved being in the Upper East Side. I highly recommend that neighborhood. But the sightseeing and the fun wasn't just all I did in New York City. I also had a job, and I also had an internship. So my first day of my internship was just so exciting. I got to commute with all of the people going to work. I might sound so silly, but it was really fun to commute with everybody else going to work at 7 in the morning. Their work clothes, with their work bags, and waiting for the subway. Like, I was envisioning my life, like how it could potentially be. It was just really fun. I love cosplay. If you're gonna go get a $10 cup of coffee, it better be good, and the best one I found is Ralph's Coffee in the Upper East Side. Again, I did a ton of eating as well, and those are all on my Instagram story highlights because there are just too many to list in this video, but everything is so amazing. I think New York just knows how to set the vibe, whether that's a restaurant, a bar, or even a shop. New York is a vibe. It's aesthetic in itself. I was at the Met a lot, and I got a chance to see the fashion exhibit, and it was just so beautiful. The fashion lover in me was obsessed. I think I spent like 2 hours in that exhibit alone, and it was just so beautiful. And I think now, looking back at my little vlog, I definitely filmed a lot more more in the beginning of the summer versus the end. I think being so enamored by the city, I was like, okay, I gotta film everything, every single moment. And then by month 2, I just really wanted to kind of pretend like living my life as if I was actually in New York and this could potentially be my life like full time. Definitely spent a lot of time alone sightseeing and kind of seeing the places, crossing things off my bucket list. And so there aren't that many clips of me, I'm realizing, but it was just still so beautiful. There were so many hidden gems and so many pop-up shops, so much shopping that I got to do. My sisters also visited me toward the end of the summer and it was just so beautiful. I'm so happy that they took the trip out and that they wanted to see me. I was gonna see them so soon anyway, in 3 weeks, and I had such a fun time showing them around and showing them my favorite little spots. But yeah, I guess this is the end of my vlog. I am so sad that I didn't get to film a ton on this camera, but I have a ton more content, a lot more videos, a lot more reels on my Instagram and on my highlights. So if you guys are ever interested in knowing where I ate, what I drank, and just the little shopping and life bits that I did in New York, feel free to hop on over to Instagram and follow me there. And if you have any questions about New York in general, you can always ask me, DM, comment. I am always here for you guys. Thank you so much for watching the video. It was so fun to edit and look back at my summer and relive my memories. And I will see you in the next video.